So late yesterday afternoon, I don't remember. It's yesterday for you, today for me. Microsoft's, this is going to be a multi-stage thing, but the Microsoft deal has been officially blocked by the FCC. FTC. I said FCC. Shut up. Anyways, there are multiple levels to this that I think kind of starts looking more and more kind of collusion-y. I don't know if it is collusion. It just looks scummy on the part of Sony, not so much the FTC. Because you come over to this article from VGC, and VGC is where I'm getting a lot of this news. Microsoft claims Sony is more interested in talking to regulators than Xbox about Activision deal. What do you think they're worried about? They're worried about Call of Duty. That's the only thing Sony's been worried about. Ignoring the fact Microsoft offered them a 10-year deal that Nintendo has picked up. Call of Duty is going to be on Nintendo Switch now. Am I going to play it on the Switch? Probably not. That's going on the Switch. So that deal is out there. People are allowed to take it. So it was such an important deal, such a big deal, and a deal that Microsoft was willing to legitimately do, that if I pull down here, I think I have it right here, offered 10-year legally enforceable contract. That meant if they effed up, the feds could come after them. Not just a normal lawsuit. No, the feds. They put their neck out on the line very much, because all Microsoft wants is the access to the mobile. They don't want anything else. But let's get into this. One of Sony's irreplaceable. Yeah. One of Sony's primary objectives to the $68.7 billion deal is the fact that it would see Microsoft gain control of Call of Duty, a franchise PlayStation called irreplaceable. In a recent filing with the UK Competition and Markets Authority, Sony's been saying this stuff. Sony doesn't want to lose any chance of losing access to Call of Duty. Here's the thing, though. My personal view from this is they're more mad at Microsoft because Sony wanted to acquire Activision Blizzard. That's my bet. My bet is Sony wanted to acquire it. Sony wanted to be the one to get this company, and Microsoft took it out from under them. That's the only reason this makes sense now. Because Sony wants all this IP to themselves. They built this PlayStation is one of the greatest consoles. I'm not a PlayStation fan. I'm just not. But it is one of those great, amazing consoles. It has fantastic games. God of War. You got Horizon Zero Dawn. All sorts of amazing video games on the PlayStation alone. But one of the biggest games for PlayStation is Call of Duty. They're worried that their big competitor, Microsoft, will lock it down. Microsoft already says they're not going to lock it down. They refuse to lock it down because it doesn't make financial sense. It is financial suicide to lock down Call of Duty because it's so big on Sony. We scroll down here. It has also claimed that Microsoft's true strategy behind the Activision Blizzard deal is to have PlayStation become like Nintendo and not compete in the 18+ rated shooter space. Nintendo is getting access to Call of Duty. So that's a BS lie right there. With the future of Call of Duty series, I said this, offered a 10-year legally enforceable contract to make each new series entry available on PlayStation the same day it comes to Xbox. And on Wednesday, it said it has also offered similar deals to Nintendo and Steam. Nintendo took the deal. Steam, I'm willing to bet, took the deal. Everybody's going to take this deal because it's a win-win. There's been one gaming industry participant that really been raising all the objections, and that's Sony. And they've been fairly public about the things that don't meet their expectations. This is I'm going all over. Phil Spencer says this. He said, "From where we sit, it's clear they're spending more time with their regulators than they are with us to try and get this deal done." Spencer added, "Our intent is to become more relevant on more screens. We have a pretty good idea of how to build a win-win relationship with Nintendo and, frankly, Sony. Microsoft's trying, but FTC sues to block the Microsoft deal." The FTC sued. The FTC's coming in because Sony whined too much. That's my belief. Ignore this whole, oh, they're going to become a monopoly. They're going to become a monopoly. No, they're not. The biggest game Microsoft is about to have as a solo console, like one-party game, only for Xbox, is going to be Starfield. That's all they have coming for them. Halo was once great. It's nowhere near as great as it once was. Gears of War, fantastic. Nowhere near as good as it once was. All they have is Starfield, and that's through Bethesda. That's it. Everything else has been dying. Let's get into this, though. The Federal Trade Commission on Thursday sued to block the Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, challenging one of the largest tech acquisitions in history. The administrative complaint filed Thursday by the FTC alleges the blockbuster deal, which would make Microsoft the third largest video game publisher in the world. I don't remember the first, but I remember one of them was Tencent, that has its fingers in every gaming industry. So enough of that. Tencent's your biggest monopoly, and that's Charcoms. Would give Microsoft both the means and motive to harm competition. No, it wouldn't. It would be financial suicide to do that. As quote from Phil Spencer. Not Phil Spencer, but yeah, Phil Spencer. It would be the dumbest move ever to block any of these games off because they are such big revenue generators. Overwatch, nickels and dimes its players to death. World of Warcraft, nickels and dimes its players to death. Call of Duty, one of the massive games ever, nickels and dimes its players to death as well, but is on everything. Why would you block that revenue stream off? Claiming it could negatively affect prices of video games as well as game quality and player experience on consoles and gaming services, according to the agency's release. That's total BS. Games are already going up prior to this deal. Sony made their games $70 prior to this deal. We continue to believe that this deal will expand competition and create more opportunities for gamers and game developers. Brad Smith, Microsoft president, and in a statement Thursday, we have been committed since day one to addressing competition concerns, including by offering earlier this week proposed concerns to the FTC. While we believed in giving peace a chance, we have complete confidence in our case and welcome the opportunity to present our case in court. Yeah, that plays into this. They're planning on suing. They're going to fight back to the best of their ability, and that's all they can do. I have all the belief this deal is going to go through. Sony can whine and cry all at once. Nintendo took the deal. Steam probably took the deal. There's probably countless other platforms that are willing to take that deal. Sony's just mad that it didn't get there first. In an email sent to the employees and provided to CNN, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick said the FTC suit may sound alarming, but he remains confident the deal will close. The allegations that this deal is anti-competitive doesn't align with the facts, and we believe we'll win this challenge, he said. You know what? Continuing on this whole monopoly and fighting and how the FTC is definitely going to stop this monopoly. They didn't stop the anime monopoly that Sony created when it acquired Funimation. Didn't stop that. Why do they feel like they should now? This is definitely not a monopoly, but they didn't stop Sony from becoming a monopoly. So why do they care now? Why do they care now? Maybe Sony's been greasing a few palms behind the scene. Just saying. I'm just putting that out there because this feels scummy as all hell. The US merger challenge reflects the biggest setback yet for Microsoft, as it has aggressively courted regulators around the world in hopes of persuading them to bless the deal. It also marks the FTC's most significant challenge to the tech industry since it sued to break up Facebook owner Meta in 2020. And how did that turn out? Underscoring US officials' vocal promises of a tough antitrust enforcement agenda. This was not going to make Microsoft a monopoly. Again, they were going to just keep putting everything out where it wanted. All they wanted was the ability to get access to the mobile industry. They wanted the ability to give everybody access to Game Pass. That's all they wanted to do. Now, is that good or bad? I don't know. I saw no indication that this was going to be a monopoly. I saw no indication that this was going to be some sort of antitrust requirement because, again, you still have Sony. Sony still has potentially the Game of the Year and God of War. I'm not watching the Game Awards right now, so if I'm wrong, somebody tell me in chat. Tell me in the comment section. I know it's up against Elden Ring. Elden Ring is also really good. But there's another example. From Software is still free. From Software still is putting out fantastic games. The only thing people are worried about is Call of Duty and the amount of revenue this would bring in for Microsoft. But Microsoft doesn't really care about Call of Duty. It wanted the mobile market. Again, this is the boldest move for the presidential administration has made so far to police mergers involving big tech and to expand the realm of merger enforcement, said William Koviak, a law professor at George Washington University and former FTC chair. Funny how that works. More than anything else, they've done more than anything else they've done. This embodies their commitment to get tough on mergers. The case could also mark a turning point for how regulators and the courts review proposed deals, at a time when U.S. antitrust enforcers have intentionally brought difficult cases to test the law and to keep up with advances in technology. I don't see them stopping this. It doesn't make sense to stop this. All it does, if you stop this, Microsoft will remain. If you stop this, Microsoft will remain. Activision Blizzard, on the other hand, might not. Let's remember, you get a bunch of pay pigs through World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft's player base has been going down time and time again. They've been getting very disappointed with what's come out. Overwatch had a very buggy launch, and that was still under Activision Blizzard. All they have is Call of Duty and Candy Crush, but all they really have is Call of Duty. You can't keep doing that over and over and over again. Microsoft would remain because it's Microsoft. Sony would remain even if the deal went through, because Sony has things like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. For lack of a better example, they have the first part of the Last of Us series. First part was great. Second part was awful. Naughty Dog. You still have those. You still have things. We still have competitors all over the place. You're just worried about Call of Duty. Antitrust, yeah. Microsoft's proposed deal would give it control over key video game franchises, including Call of Duty. Just stop there. You don't have to go on. World of Warcraft, and more. That could give it enormous influence over the future of a multi-billion-dollar industry, the FTC said. Today, we seek to stop Microsoft from gaining control over a leading independent game studio and using it to harm competition in multiple dynamics and fast-growing gaming market. Like I've said over and over again, all they're worried about is Call of Duty. What people don't realize is the gaming market, yeah, like she said, fast growing. There's other games out there. There's other independent creators out there. There's other things that exist. If Battlefield would quit botching up its games, that's a competitor for Call of Duty. If Epic Games, I like you, Epic. I think it's Epic that... No, it's not Epic. Sorry. Well, Epic Games, yeah. That has Fortnite. If... That's a competitor to Call of Duty, technically. Titanfall. Who makes Titanfall? I don't remember off the top of my head. Titanfall would come out with Titanfall 3 and quit focusing on another competitor to Call of Duty, which was Apex Legends. Right there, that's 2 more competitors to Call of Duty if they work out them right. Call of Duty is just the largest game right now because it's getting it right. If all those other games that I just listed off got it right, they'd be a competitor. People would be vying after them. Heck, Epic Games is still putting out massive games. Fortnite is still super popular. Call of Duty is all they're worried about because PlayStation has built this whole thing now around gaining access to Call of Duty because that's one of their biggest games. Not technically theirs, but that's one of the biggest games for the PlayStation. But let me get your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think this deal is going to go through? I lean towards yes, definitely. But let me get your guys' thoughts. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it out with all your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.